everyone, and welcome to this Bonita Soft webinar. Today we're going to talk about process analytics. Diving into process analytics, we're just going to wait 2 minutes so everyone can connect. And my name is Talia. I'm here with Thomas and Alejandro, if you see them there. At any time, you can ask your questions on the panel on the right side. So, for example, you can tell us now where you are connected from. We are currently in France. I'm connected from Paris. Thomas, I think, is in Grenoble. Yeah, very near. And Alejandro in Paris as well. So don't hesitate to tell us where you are right now. I think this session is going to be very international as well as all our webinars in English. Switzerland, there's someone from Switzerland. Hey, from India. Hello. So glad you are here. We are so happy that you are here today because it's going to be like a very, very hot topic, process analytics. Mexico, yeah, my country. Costa Rica, hello. And just one more minute, so don't hesitate to tell us where you are. We already have a lot of people connected, and I will say it again. If you have any question during the whole webinar, please don't hesitate to ask it on the panel on the right side. So I guess we will start now. I will leave you with Thomas and Alejandro, and at the end, we will have time to answer to your questions. So again, don't hesitate. Thomas, Alejandro, it's up to you.
Hello everyone, I'm Thomas. I'm working at in the R&D team at Bonita Soft and with Alejandro Rondon, who is working also at Bonita Soft in the pre-sales team. We are going to talk to you about the process analytics project and what you can expect from it. So let's go with the agenda. So I will start with the process analytics project, a short presentation of the domain and what we have done at Bonita Soft on this topic, and also what you can expect from this project. And in the second part, Alejandro will talk to you about an example of integration of some library provided by this project, an integration in a Bonita Living application. And we will focus on a specific ticketing application, and we will conclude with a demonstration, live demo. And afterwards, we will finish this webinar with a question and answer slot. So let's start with the process analytics project. As I said, we are going to talk about the project in general, but before we start, I will go back to the process topic and what is a process. If you know Bonita, you are used to playing with structured process. So this is something which is normalized. That's something you want to invest. You want to something which can be repetitive. You have which provide you controls on it, but this is not the same kind of process we have in life. Most of the time, we have unstructured process. And to dig into what can be an unstructured process, we will use a common process, which is what can happen in a day-to-day life of some women. So let's start with that. What can we do when we have a look at the day-to-day life of women? So this is what you see here. We have a lot of picture that this is showing the different step in your life. And then what can we do with this picture? What we want to do is to observe what is going on and try to extract data. Just sorry, I have a problem because I have no feedback on the slide, so it's not moving for me. Okay, thank you. This is okay. So what can we see? So we are not just going to have a look at what is going. So we observe and we can see a woman which is waken up twice a day. For example, Luisa. Probably like me today, she was very tired, so it was hard to wake up. And so the first time it was not a good one, and then she has to wake up a second time. If we have a look for another woman, she can drink, for example, five coffee in a day, or another time, she called a customer. So when we have observed this, what we can get from this is data. Now, the first data we can have is an ID. This is something which could identify an activity which happened at a given time and which is very different than the other one. So the second thing that we can have is a date. When I woke up on Sunday is not the same thing that when I woke up on Monday, and I see and stuff like this. And also we can name the activity. So we can third data is the name of the activity. When I woke up is not the same thing that when I drink coffee. And when we have also look at the data, we see resources. This means that what is involved in the activity. I use a pen, I use a desk, I use a bed. So this is kind of resources. You also interact with people, or for example, a dog. So this is also can be considered as a resources. And the last thing it's we have in this data is inputs and outputs. For example, when Alinka is calling a customer, her input is she had a question that she would like to have an answer, and so as an output, she expects to have the customer answer. And then what we can do with this process, with this data, and I was talking about unstructured processes, and basically this is what data mining is going to do. Data mining is the science which is managing the data you have collected. Data mining will crunch all data to extract all the meaning that which is inside the data. Like I said just before, we have ID, resources, and stuff like this. And when we have collected this data structure, all of them, the process mining is going to process everything to try to extract recurring processes. So, for example, in a day, this person will always wake up, then I don't know, go to the shower and stuff like this. And this is based on all the data, they will extract everything and manage the process. And afterwards, if we have detected something which is structure and we want to replicate, for example, we can use business process management, which can be BPM or anything that can automate the process, to be able to replicate, to be able to add rules and stuff like this. And in this this landscape, process analytics will be a kind of analysis that won't only show you what you are going in with your processes and how they are performing, but also how you can improve them and to help you to perform better. And like I said before, we want to improve, so we have to first look, and so we are going to see what can be the application of process mining. If you know Bonita and BPMN solution, diagnostics and monitoring are already things that you are aware of. Basically, the first thing you want to know is how your processes are acting. So you want to measure performance. You want to see if they are conform with what you are modeled. And when you have issues, you want to look and find the root causes of the problem. And you want also have an overview of all processes. So it means that you need dashboard to be able to monitor the execution of all processes. And also you want to have some alarms, so to be notified when an issue occurs. So this is something that can be done with process mining techniques, but you also have in BPMN. And you have also in process mining topics something which is called descriptive action. So this is the first thing is process discovery. So this is the technique which help you with when you have a lot of data to extract a process. So you'll be able to see that this activity starts and then she's followed by this one and stuff like this. And you can also navigate inside the process to be able to dig and discover what is going on. And the last topic is the prescription. That is mean that when you have monitor your process, but you want to know it, you want to anticipate what's going on, what will happen in your next execution, task execution, or the next instance of your process. So the prescription will provide you some recommendation, or for example, provide you what will be the best future path that your process should take to have the best, the fastest completion, for example. So now I've just finished to give you an overview of what can the process mining is, and then I will go into more detail about what we have done at Bonita Soft in these topics. Few years ago, we experiment with algorithm applied to process mining algorithm applied to BPM, and we start to do some prediction. And more specifically, we wanted to predict future behaviors. So after this experimental phase, we released a new add-on on the Bonita platform, which was called PC, and its goal was to predict and propose the best action you should do to improve your process execution. And during this the development and when we put it live, we realized that we have a need which was mainly in the visualization field. And we needed some new components to be able to provide more analytics data and to make it easier for the user of the BC application to see everything. And so the process analytics project was born at that time. Why? Because we wanted to find a solution that already exists, but we didn't find this solution. And we realized also that we have common needs in the BPMN landscape that we also in other markets like in BI or process mining. The second things we see that there wasn't any shared technology for visualization of this kind of data. And as I said, there were no initiative to cover this need. So what we decided is to create a new project, which was called Process Analytics. And with the following foundation should be a customizable open source ecosystem for developers and to visualize execution data. And to be able to cover and to be able to be integrated into various tools like BPM, process mining, business intelligence, and RPA market. That as we have seen that there were no common initiative for all this market. And as I noticed just before, we choose to start with an open source project. And why did you choose to start with an open source project? First, it's because open source in the Bonita Soft DNA, the company has been created around the Bonita project, which was initially only open source. Then we think that an open source solution would be a good way to collaborate with other vendors in different markets. It will be easier for people to integrate it into projects and application. And also it would be easier to create a new community around this process analytics field. And to conclude, it would be a good way to ease adoption. So this project has been created in early 2020. You can see the website of the project here in this slide. In this website, you will find all information that you need to know what is the process, what the project is about, the library and component that are available, the documentation, the article, newsletter, and everything you need to follow the project. About the technical environment, we have some library written in JavaScript or TypeScript for front-end and to be displayed into web pages. For backend processing, we have some Java library. We also have some tooling which is developed in R, which is mainly used by data scientists and analysts. And for now, we are using BPMN representation. But this is the current stack. We are planning to provide that library into various technology, depending of the needs and the feedback we will receive from the community. Now I'm going to show you several examples of what the project is able to achieve. Like I said, we are mainly providing libraries and components, and here I will show a demonstrator that we have created by assembling various components. We have created a tool which is a gateway between the process mining and more exactly the process discovery and BPMN. The first picture you see, it's a process map. You see something which is the common view used for process discovery. And on the bottom, you see the BPMN representation. This tool is taken event logs, which is the way we generally represent unstructured data, which is a record of activities, which are then processed with the R library to be able to recreate the process map. And then we use some components and library we have developed to recreate and enrich the semantic of the process, and then create a layout that can be used in the BPMN representation. We have a focus now on, like I said, we are using a BPMN representation, and so to be able to do this representation, we have developed a library which is called BPMN visualization. Its purpose is to first display the BPMN diagram, but mainly to display on top of the diagram the execution data. In this example, like you can see some pages which are representing the frequency of each activity. And as you can see, we have decided to use a very neutral style for the BPMN diagram, which is black and white, because what we want by default to display it and highlight it, we want to highlight the execution data. But you are not limited to this style. You can change and customize the BPMN theme. For example, in this example, we have decided to show the start event in red, do a gradient from blue to white for the task, and also display the end event in red. But it's up to you. You can customize everything you want. This example is about interaction. When you have a diagram and you want to show also execution data, you want also your user to be able to interact with the processes. And so in this example, we are displaying some tooltip or which are displayed when you do some hover or you click, but you can do whatever you want. If you want to double click, this is also possible. And for the last example, this is something that which is more related to the execution path. So in this example, we show all the steps which leads to the current task, which is here displayed in green. So with a kind of animation. So it can also let you display to your user the data in another way. We have also a lot of other examples that you will be able to find in the demo and example website. I've shown you a lot of examples which are not related to any application, but now we are going to see where you can integrate this library, and mainly you can integrate in a web page. And if you can integrate it in a web page, you can integrate it in the Bonita page and in the Bonita Living application. And Alejandro is going to show you an example of this kind of integration.
Hello, everyone. So yes, as sorry, as Thomas was just explaining, we have this library that is for the moment. This library will stay open source, but we're going to integrate it using Bonita and in a Bonita project and in a living application. For this, we're just going to use one of our contexts. I mean, one of our showroom applications where we have applications running with already data running. We will have these cases running with different instances in different states. We are having this information shown in different websites and with different applications for different type of people, either for users, for managers, for employees, etc. So we are going to use one of these applications as our base. But before we go that, I just want to go to how we'll build this application. So for building the application, the first and foremost important part will be to actually to identify all the people, all the users that we're going to utilize the application. That way we can actually have the feedback from the users on, for example, how they want the information to be displayed, how they want the different experience, the transitions, etc. We can also have the information from the project analyst or the business analyst that will tell us for what project, how the steps are going to go, how the process is going to go, if we're going to have some business rules, etc. So once we identify all those users and all this information, we get into the circle of development. So we start by defining the process, then we go for defining the data that fills the process, then we're going to define the user interfaces, and finally we're going to integrate with other systems. Integration here doesn't mean only using connectors to connect to any external systems like your databases, your internal servers for ERP or document management, etc. We're also going to use this integration in the sense of including external libraries to our web pages using custom widgets. And in this case, we are using, of course, the the available library for process analytics, and we're going to include it, the process visualization library, and we're going to include it in one of our custom widgets. So how do we start? We start first with the collection of data. The collection of data, we're going to need some metadata from these cases. And of course, we're going to also use some SLAs. For this, we're going to create an API extension using sorry, we're going to create an API extension to have available all this data for the presentation layer. This data is going to, of course, have a different range. It will go from the macro level of the process definition and all the instances that we have in this process to creating a zoom into each of any one of those instances to have the execution context and, of course, any other information, either data or documents that we have that we might need from this approach. This will allow us to have an approach of drill down, so we can start from the big picture and going through details for each one of the steps. So how we're going to create the interface using this context? Well, we're going to create using the process analytics library for visualization. We're going to create a custom widget, and that can be integrated in one of any of our pages using the UI designer. This will be available for any page that we can develop and included in any applications that we can actually not only have access to the data from the Bonita case, but we can also have, for example, link to different pages with different actions that we can have and we can show. One thing where we are integrating this information, this new widget, is in our ticketing application. So a little bit context of what is the ticketing application is a very simple application for B2C support, let's say for a telecom operator. So you can have access, they can have access to creating cases. So for example, user can create a ticket by any means that they have. We can be multi-channel, and the general support team can be either analyze this, advance the treatment to the advanced team, or we can start a sub process for the on-site visit in case that we might need a technical support on site. This is done, of course, we first will define the process that we have in using the BPM standard. This is done with the Bonita Studio, and we will have the different tasks that are going to be performed by the different actors and people that we might connect on this case. There's no need to get into the details of this process, just to have you an idea of the information that we're going to have. And of course, we will have the same for the on-site visit. So we also have a process with different tasks, with different actors that are we going to do each and any one of those tasks. So now we can actually go to the demo. So let me show you my the application that we already developed using that application, that custom widget. Nous avons, so we have this application where we can show the different processes that we have defined in this application. So the ticket submission by mail, by web, by Twitter, can be Twitter, and then the process for the ticket management, as we saw it defined in our previous information. This information, as we can see, we saw from the example from map, we have different actions, interactions that we can have with the diagram. So we can have actually, for example, on hover, we can have some information, and if we click on the information, we can retrieve, we can perform some more actions. In this case, we can, for example, see if we have failed tasks. This is not only based on the process analytics, but it will give you us the availability to go on that drill down possibility to go through from the from the big diagram to the task itself. We can get, for example, to see this task, and we can see the details of the task. We can also define, for example, we can here see if we have an error stack, so we can identify and correct this error. For example, in this case is error validation. So for example, we may need to restart the credentials for these applications. And we can either choose to skip or replay this application, this task as long as we need. One other, sorry, let's go back. One other information that we can go is, for example, to our team manager application. If we go to one of our the task that is already ready, that we're expecting some input from an employee or a user, we can actually also access to the reassign application, our team application, and we can see all the tasks in our team. So we can see which task has been assigned to which user, and we can actually select or even modify if we have, for example, if we know that Mauro Setici has a lot of tasks already assigned to him, we can transfer some tasks to another cases. We can, of course, also select the task and not only reassign to another person, we can also change the priority. So, for example, pass from normal to highest to lowest, etc. And all this information is done just as we explained before, just using the all the information from the BPM engine and have them in our applications ready for our end users or managers or any other person that might be interested in this type of data and analytics. And with that, we have already done, and I think we can go to the questions slide. Thomas, I don't know if you have questions on your side.
We have some questions in here. Oh, sorry. So will recording be available online? Yes. So after we finish the webinar, we will send the recording to all the participants. Now, this question from India. Process Analytics will expose APIs for integration. Using the API, do we need to create custom widgets?
I don't know. I guess you are talking about process analytics within Bonita. So first, what I can say is that starting with the next release, we will have a first integration out of the box within Bonita. And we will provide a custom widget and a fragment. So this will be an enterprise-only feature. So you will have everything you need to display execution data on the diagram. I don't know if it's answered the questions. If you are talking about the visualization library, yes, we have already have API to display this execution data. So you have to go to the GitHub repository to see and the documentation to see what this API are. So for a more specific answer about the API, we have a specific documentation about the API in the website of the BPMN visualization library.
And we will share the link just after the webinar, as well as a recording. So this answers the next question of the list of APIs. What is the data source for process analytics? Bonita engine, any external database kind?
it can be both of them. In the example Alejandro showed to you, it was all execution data information were taken from the BPM engine database, and using, in this case, a custom web REST API. But you already have some standard API from the Bonita engine that you can request for this. Like I said, this is an open from the BPMN visualization point of view. The library doesn't care where the data are coming from, so it's up to you to choose which data and how you retrieve them. So Bonita provides some API, but you can also take the information from external system if you want.
Great. Thank Thomas. What are the licenses of the software? Is it GPL?
Almost all for the process analytics project, all the library and components are released under the Apache 2.0 license. So this is not GPL, this is Apache 2. And if the question is about the feature that will be in Bonita, like I said, it will be an enterprise-only feature.
Thank you. Another question. Will process analytics impact Bonita engine performance? How can we mitigate that?
Basically, when you are doing some monitoring and or you want to see execution data, you are not you are requesting the API, which is looking for data inside the database. So the engine won't be impacted by this because we are only reading data. What can be tricky in some times, especially if you are writing your custom REST API extension, is that depending on the query you are doing, you will have some probably some performance issue if you are not doing the right query or you are not using the right index. So, but regarding the next release, a lot of time is going to be spent in test to ensure that for the use case, the monitoring inside Bonita we cover, that the performance will be good in a lot of scenario, especially when for people we have a lot of data.
Thank you, Thomas.
So for the short answer, if you use standard API, you should not have issue. If you are doing custom REST API extension, be careful, as usual.
Okay. A question about the example showing the BPMN layout generated from PM. Is it possible to export the generated BPMN diagram?
Yes, exactly. This is the first thing that you can export. Like I said, currently the tool is in preview, so you have to fill a form and we will manage the export for you. But the purpose is to generate the BPMN diagram, and especially if you want to use it in a modeling tool to improve the layout and add extra information, or even if you want to use it in a BPMN engine, because you can reuse it right away.
Okay. These are questions about then, can we get the demo POC to explore it more in details? And also, how can we contribute to the project? And maybe it's linked as well, so I will read it. Can we customize the process analytics API?
About the process analytics.
Sorry, Thomas. I'm just going to answer the demo since this is a pre-sales demo project. Hi, Paparao. We could share you the codes, but actually it will be available for the next release for the enterprise edition. So you will have it anyways in September. And then you can actually have all information of the custom widgets and everything that we use to create the bot. But if you need it for some information, yes, of course, you can contact us, the Pixels team, and we can arrange something. And then I'll let Toma to answer how to contribute.
Yes, I wanted to add something about the contribution to the process analytics project and especially the BPN visualization. The project, the source code is hosted on GitHub, so it's up to you to see what are the current feature that we are planning to develop. And if you see that we are missing some that you would need, feel free to fill an issue and start a conversation with us.
Great. And so can we customize the process analytics API? Is this a kind of contribution to the project, for example?
Yes, if you think that we are missing some use case, yes, you can. The best way is to fill an issue to explain what you expect from the API. We prefer you to fill an issue instead of just providing a PR pull request, because then we can discuss then to be sure that this will fit and we won't reject your pull request, and you won't, otherwise you will spend time and we will reject your work, so it will be disappointing for both of us.
Great, thank you. I think we have, just one last question. Can the analytics be done on a specific set of data?
Alessandro, I guess this one is for you.
Sorry. In this case, we use the whole context of all the execution context. So we will have all the data that we had and all the process running, all the instance running. But then you can you can create your own API extension, and you can focus on what part of the information that you want. That focus, that range that you can do it, of course, is completely customizable.
Great. Thank you, Alejandro. And well, this is the end. So I think we will be waiting for September and the next version of Bonita. So again, don't hesitate also to contribute to the project by opening a ticket and starting a conversation with the team. Do you want to add something else, Tomás, Alejandro?
Thank you for your attention. I was glad to do the presentation with Alejandro today, and I hope you will be happy with this demo. And if you want to contribute to the process analytics project, don't hesitate. We'll be happy to talk to you with GitHub issue on in person if we meet next time.
Yes, exactly. You can contact the process analytics teams in the websites and in GitHub. You can have some line of communication with them. And of course, from me and the pre-sales team, we just hope that we might find you on the next webinar, or we'll see you in the next meeting.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you again to all of you for this session, this very international session from all around the world. And thank you again for your time. See you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.